Finding out about his divorce from CNN, getting a bad reputation in Hollywood, and losing his voice to throat cancer. Val Kilmer once achieved the kind of fame others can only dream of, but his life hasn't exactly been perfect. When Val Kilmer was 9 years old, his home life was drastically altered when his parents, Eugene and Gladys Kilmer, divorced. None of his peers had to deal with such trials, and it made Kilmer feel like the odd kid out. He told The Telegraph, "It was obvious to me at the time that this was the biggest thing I'd been through. It was seen as what it was, an odd event, that something bad had happened." Though Val, along with his older brother Mark and younger brother Wesley, went to live with Eugene following the divorce, he didn't have a close bond with his father. Val also had a strained connection to Mark, with whom he butted heads over Eugene's estate after his passing in the 90s. Mark explained, "Val has no example in his life of a good relationship he can look to." The siblings remained estranged for some time, but according to a source who spoke to Radar, they began to put their differences aside following Val's throat cancer diagnosis in 2015. The source went on to say, "Mark is a well-regarded psychologist, so he doesn't see eye to eye with Val's Christian Science beliefs. It has caused a rift between them in the past, but now they're finally getting closer again." Unlike the relationships with his father and older brother, Val got along with his younger brother Wesley. His sudden death in 1977 greatly affected Val. Wesley, who had epilepsy, suffered a seizure and drowned in a spa located near the swimming pool. Speaking to The Telegraph, Val said that Wesley had been an aspiring filmmaker, adding, "Well, my little brother was, just an amazing artist, a genius. I was sort of in awe of him."
My confidant had disappeared into dust, and our family was never the same again.
Despite this heartbreaking loss, Val had to quickly pivot to achieving his own goals. The future actor traveled directly from Wesley's funeral to Juilliard, where he had been accepted into the institution's drama school, to begin his journey to the big screen. Still, Wesley never left his thoughts, with Val using his late brother's name to check into hotels when he started to become recognized in public. Batman Forever may have been a hit among the masses, but leading man Val Kilmer is noticeably absent from the 1997 follow-up film Batman and Robin, which stars George Clooney as the superhero. That's because Kilmer and director Joel Schumacher clashed heavily on set, with Schumacher describing the actor as, quote, "the most psychologically disturbed human being I have ever worked with." Schumacher isn't the only person to view Kilmer, who is notoriously particular about his work, in such a negative light. Early on in his career, Kilmer earned a reputation for being difficult, with numerous directors coming forward over the years to share their negative encounters. John Frankenheimer, the second director of 1996's The Island of Dr. Moreau, told Entertainment Weekly, "I don't like Val Kilmer, I don't like his work ethic, and I don't want to be associated with him ever again."
I remember him saying to a few of us that were standing around, "If I was directing a film called The Life of Val Kilmer, I wouldn't have that in it."
Kilmer is alleged to have burned a Dr. Moreau cameraman with a cigarette, ordered everyone on set of the 1997's The Saint to not make eye contact with him, and fired a prop gun while filming 1993's The Real McCoy because director Russell Mulcahy didn't give him his way for a certain scene. On his behavior, Kilmer is reported to have said, "If I'm demanding, which I don't think I am, it's for the good of the picture." On the set of 1988's Willow, Val Kilmer and Joanne Whalley fell hard and fast for each other, tying the knot mere months after their initial meeting. But their whirlwind romance wasn't meant to last. 8 years later, while watching CNN from his hotel room in the Virgin Islands where he was filming The Island of Dr. Moreau, Kilmer was shocked by the news report that appeared on the TV. Whalley had filed for divorce from him due to irreconcilable differences. Kilmer told The Telegraph, "It's a really weird thing, modern divorce. I found out I was getting divorced on television. That was kind of weird." Still, he worked to make sure the two children he shares with Whalley, Mercedes and Jack, weren't as negatively impacted by the divorce as he was in his youth. He explained, "It's more normal to be divorced now. It's not something bad now that parents just love each other differently and say the things that counselors teach them to say when they don't know what to say to their kids." Kilmer has a close bond with his kids, both of whom are following in his Hollywood footsteps. He and his daughter shared the screen in 2020's Pay Dirt, while Jack served as an associate producer and narrator for the 2021 documentary Val. Kilmer was the subject of tabloid weight-shaming articles in 2007, after being spotted at the beach, with the Daily Mail publishing one entitled "Val Kilmer Goes from Batman to Fat Man." Then in 2012, the actor was critiqued by the media for appearing too thin. According to a TMZ source, Kilmer realized one day that he wasn't happy with his wellness and took steps to get back on track. Fed up with the criticism of his appearance, he released a statement on Facebook explaining that he also needed to achieve a slimmer physique to portray Mark Twain in a film that he was writing and directing at the time. As he wrote in the post, "Can't win in this crazy town. Too heavy for too many years, and now gossip says too thin." In 2015, Kilmer's world was changed forever when he was diagnosed with throat cancer. Initially, due to his Christian Science beliefs, he had no intention of seeking conventional medical treatment, instead believing that he could make himself better through prayer and working with a Christian Science practitioner. However, the concern of his children made him think differently, and Kilmer agreed to undergo surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. Kilmer has been cancer-free since 2016, though there are some lingering after effects that he's had to learn to live with. These include a tracheotomy, a voice box to help him speak, and a feeding tube. Despite the efforts of his medical team, Kilmer holds fast to the belief that his own prayers are what led to him being cured, telling the New York Times of the tracheotomy, "That's from radiation and chemotherapy. It's not from cancer. That treatment caused my suffering." Due to his tracheotomy, Kilmer's voice is permanently damaged, drastically affecting his everyday life and career.
You have to make the choice. When you have this eye problem, whether praise or eat.
Still, Kilmer is finding new and creative ways to communicate, largely thanks to the audio technology Sonantic. After the platform was fed hours of archival footage of Kilmer speaking, the British startup used advanced AI to recreate his voice, which is accessible to him in both personal and professional settings. The actor said in a statement, "The chance to tell my story in a voice that feels authentic and familiar is an incredibly special gift."
But now I can express myself again. I can bring these dreams to you and show you this part of myself once more.
Additionally, despite his communication hurdles, Kilmer is continuing to add to his filmography with the help of Sonantic. A major achievement for him came in 2022 when he reprised the role of Iceman in Top Gun Maverick. Kilmer's diagnosis and the after effects were even written into the script, with Iceman dying of cancer in the movie. As woman after woman came forward in 2017 with sexual abuse allegations against Harvey Weinstein, actor Kathleen O'Heaney found the courage to share an alleged incident of physical assault by Val Kilmer that occurred in 1989 during the making of Oliver Stone's The Doors. During an audition for the role of Jim Morrison's girlfriend Pamela Courson, which was eventually secured by Meg Ryan, O'Heaney was asked to read through a heated scene between Pamela and Jim. She claimed to BuzzFeed that while running through the scene, the actor hit her in the face. "When I got to the room and Val Kilmer picked me up and shook me, throwing me down to the floor. Stone just stood there the whole time laughing. I went down to my car and I cried for about 20 minutes. However, casting director Risa Brayman Garcia remembers things differently, telling BuzzFeed that Kilmer never struck O'Heaney in the face. According to Brayman Garcia, Kilmer did pin her to the wall, but it was part of the scene, and O'Heaney was told about it prior to the start of the audition. As Brayman Garcia told the outlet, "It was way blown out of proportion. I am not somebody who takes this stuff lightly. I can tell the difference between something that's abusive and a moment that got carried away. But it was all in the context of work." From Cindy Crawford and Angelina Jolie to Cher and Ellen Barkin, Val Kilmer's lineup of high-profile ex-girlfriends is a lengthy one. Despite his once vibrant dating life, however, Kilmer admitted in his memoir, I'm Your Huckleberry, that he hasn't been in a relationship for 20 years, writing, "The truth is I am lonely part of every day." Though each breakup came with its share of heartache, his split from Daryl Hannah, whom he was briefly linked to in 2001, was the worst by a long shot, with the actor admitting to crying daily for over a year after they parted ways. As he told NBC News, "Lord knows I've suffered heartache, but Daryl was by far the most painful. I know I would love her with my whole heart forever, and that love has lost none of its strength. I am still in love with Daryl." Unfortunately for Kilmer, Hannah has been married to singer-songwriter Neil Young since 2018. Still, Kilmer has maintained a strong friendship with Cher, his ex of the early 80s who aided him following his throat cancer diagnosis. In his memoir, he wrote, "Once Cher works her way inside your head and heart, she never leaves. For her true friends, her steadfast love and loyalty never die.